know how to start this? Make sure you start on Facebook first. Cool. Oh, can they hear us now?
Yep.
Hello?
But we can't see yet.
Yeah.
And we're good?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome
Hey.
to the War Room 3.1.15. Yeah. Oh, that gets harder every week.
Counting.
Yeah, counting is. It's a pretty hard thing, you know. It took years for them to invent it. Oh, it looks like I'm a robot. Well, let me hide my wires. So welcome everyone to the War Room 3.1.15. We're going to start this off on a slightly sad note of someone who we're going to be missing this week, and that is Jamie. A lot of you know that Jamie last week, he came on and he spoke about the points, and he was really excited to come on and talk to you all about all the points changes he's had. But as you can see, he's not here.
He had an important appointment. I think it was his granddad or something birthday. So
But we should be sad about Will as well.
We should be sad about Will. I mean, Will didn't. I don't think Will had anything into this patch.
Okay.
But let's be sad.
Miss him.
Let's be sad about everyone. But we're mainly sad that Jamie isn't here. But we
He's
will do our
partying.
best. He's here in spirit, and we'll do our best to fill in for him. I've got all of his notes. We've got a set of words and information to go through. There are a lot of Paul fanboys in the chat. They really missed you last week. Did you? Last stream. Did you miss coming on?
I believe so. I think I was, not here.
Josh is a robot confirmed. Yeah, that is true. No, Jamie isn't dead. Jamie's just not here today. I'm just here to cheer for Paul. Don't mind me. Oh, come on. It's going to be some kind of coup at some point. Okay. So if we use the magic of the computer and we go to the first thing. Here we go. Hold on. Go
This
back
looks
to us.
promising. What?
Okay, let's go back to the computer. Whoa, magic! That was slick. So we have our news section first. As you can see by the fact it says news. So people seem to like the little contents we did last time, so I've expanded on it. So every time we hit a new point, it'll tell us everything we've got to talk about at that point.
Awesome.
So we'll start by talking about the developer newsletter. It was developer newsletter number 18. We've done a fair few of them now. Every other week, that's nearly a year-ish, he says.
Yes.
Yes, it is nearly a year.
We are running. We are runners.
We are runners, as we sit down. But yeah, this was developer newsletter 18, and we had some pretty cool stuff we spoke about in there. A lot of what we spoke about, we're going to elaborate in a big way today. As you can see, points, update, and skins. But there's some stuff in there that we touched on that actually isn't going to be specifically spoken about in this stream, so I thought this would give us an opportunity to call it out. I know that you maybe had something you wanted to say about the matchmaking part of the dev newsletter, or just to reiterate what the dev newsletter said for those of us who didn't see it.
Yes, when it comes to the matchmaking bit, we have at the moment a very much of a rudimentary system that allows us to a very, how should I put it into the best words, allows us to a very low level to discern skill or try to match players in some sort of a way, but it's quite rudimentary. When it comes to the future of matchmaking and the importance of skill within matchmaking, we would like to get your opinion on how relevant do you believe this is. How relevant do you believe skill to be when it comes to matchmaking? Now, we can fall back to what does skill mean and how do you define it. I would open this question again to you and allow and propose that you guys debate that and figure out how do you define that. And then when it comes to us, again, your opinion on how important do you consider this should be computed into our matchmaking. Now, I want to caveat this by saying that while we try to have everything done to the best that it can be done, and by that I mean we try to make sure that the tiers are computed well, the unit type diversity is computed well, being every other sort of thing like this, some of these things are to a certain extent mutually exclusive. So do we want to also be computing skill into matchmaking? Yes. How much of a trade-off are we willing to do when it comes to other dimensions of matchmaking is an open question. We just want your opinion on it.
And the best places to share that are on our a community subreddit, which is r/TotalWarArena.
Yes.
And I'm sure most people in the chat are aware of that, but also on Facebook is also a good place to share.
Yeah.
Reply to comments on Facebook a fair amount.
I want to add that that doesn't mean that we. I always want to caveat again with saying that there are no predictions for the future, but it's simply a discourse between us as to how do you guys feel about it. There is no promise that something will or will not be.
Yep.
We will try to be computing your input as we develop in the future. That is this topic.
Cool. The other thing we spoke about was deployment while loading. So this is something I'm pretty excited about, because we've all had one of those matches where there's someone who's taking absolutely ages to load the entire thing. And that's because I believe the way that battles work at the moment is it waits for everyone to load all of the battle,
Yes.
and then it loads the deployment screen, and then the battle continues on from there. But the changes we're looking into making they're pretty fundamental changes to how loading works. I believe loading would load in increments, and the first increment it prioritizes would be that of the deployment screen. So everyone can get into the deployment screen, and while the deployment screen time will be longer, because it's kind of taking over that 2 bars bit where you're zooming around the map, if I understand correctly. It means you get time where you can actually do something. You can, look at tactics. You can talk to your team, which is it's just going to be a nicer place to hang out while you're waiting for that last person to load.
Yes, a better experience while loading, I
Yep.
would argue. So instead of everyone waits and for the slowest, we kind of allow you to get there quicker.
Cool. You'll still get some time to zoom around the map, though, for those
Yes,
of you who like
and
your
you
laps.
won't start faster. I correct me if I'm mistaken, but you will still start the battle
Yes.
as
Well, it'll still
soon
take-
as the slowest
Yep.
dude gets in. So
It still takes the same amount of time for them to load, but it just means that it's not them load and then the 15 seconds start. That's all incorporated as part of the time. So let's. Oh, what's next? Server outage. I thought we'd just mention that there was because we saw a whole bunch of Reddit posts about loads of AFKs, loads of disconnects
Right.
last weekend, and we just thought we'd say, because I only confirmed on Discord.
okay,
But yes, there was a server outage. I did speak about it on Reddit. But for those of you who don't go on those channels, there was a server outage. We dealt with it as quickly as we could, especially considering it was a weekend and it happened in the middle of the night our time. It was
Yes.
not a great time for the server, one of the battle servers, to go out. But we did deploy it, and that's probably why you saw a lot more AFKs on Sunday
definitely.
and Saturday night. So we apologise for that, and hopefully it won't happen again. We're looking into why it happened. I believe, we know why it happened, but how we can stop it happening again. And the other thing is, I can see people saying, can you ask Josh about tier IIX? And it's not going to happen. The other thing is, if you are currently playing the game and you're enjoying the new patch, high tier ability swapping, any of that kind of stuff, please head over to the patch mega thread on our subreddit and let us know what you think.
Yep.
So, should we talk about the points update? I've seen some people speculating what this points update is going to be about, and they think we're nerfing points. But I think based on everything in here, an average player would get more points.
The way I see it is we're improving the point
Yeah.
system. That's how I would like to. That's my take on this one.
Yeah.
So, really, if you want to say that we are nerfing, the only thing we're really going to do, correct me if I'm mistaken, I wasn't the main designer on this, that's Jamie, but the only thing we're doing is really capping the amount of, to a certain extent, the amount of block points.
Well,
So
yeah.
you won't be able to explode block points, but otherwise other things are getting buffed, correct me if I'm mistaken again.
We'll go through them now.
Yes, please.
So, Ghost of Jamie will guide us through this. I have his notes. I have a lovely little set of slides that I made. So we'll go through this bit by bit. So we'll start with morale buff points. I looked at you like you were going to press the button, but it's me now. Oh, there we go. So morale buff point changes. Some people might not even know, but there are actually points in game for buffing morale. I believe
Yes.
it's the buff when you're standing next to your allies and buffing them while they're in combat. Currently, the average number of buff points a player gets is 3, which is quite a low number when it comes down to points. You get people getting like 11k. 3 points for a morale buff isn't great. And what that was is it was part of a change we made when the rewards value was adjusted. Hold on, I'm just reading Jamie's notes. Ooh, that was it. There were issues with the subcategory when it was originally introduced.
Yes, I remember.
So people were able to get a ridiculous amount of support points for it. So a few months ago, it was just nerfed into the ground while we worked on it, worked out what went wrong there, and I think we're silently confident that the issues have been resolved there. And what we're doing now is checking that. So we are bringing it back in. So we reduced the factor you had the points in the nerf by 100 times, and now we are going to slowly ramp it back up and see how it works. So we're going to increase the overall amount of morale buff points you get by 10 times in battle.
Yeah, we had these buff points in the background, but their functionality was not perfect, and that's why Jamie considered, like, okay, let's hold it, like, until I get to do more iterations on this. We can't have buff points at the moment. They were really like not working well enough, and for quality sake, he decided to iterate on it further before. This is the first step. Correct me if I'm mistaken, but it will be this will be increased further.
Yeah. So I think the whole point of this is it's stepping back into this system. We're going to evaluate all of the data we get in, look at all the numbers, all the screenshots you guys share, and see that it's working. It's working as we originally wanted it to, and then we can ramp it up from there until we're hitting values that we're happy with.
Yeah.
I see. Do you know what? I realised we missed such a big opportunity to have a skeleton called Jamie. How did we miss that? Or even like a sheet on a stick, right? Called Jamie. Oh man. Well, we'll make sure he doesn't turn up next year.
Wow.
I saw you answered this, Mark. But I did see someone saying about the Halloween event, and we do have a special weekend event. But as for in-game, it was one of those things where we had to decide if we wanted to push out the high-tier ability system and keep working on the new faction, or if we wanted to pause all of that and work on a Halloween event. And it was a hard choice, but eventually we decided, you guys want new content and you want new features more than you'd probably want a few hats for Halloween, because that obviously takes UI time, it takes art time. So we had to make that choice, and hopefully we will be able to do events, but we want to get more of these core features out before we take a step back and start dedicating time to them.
We will be probably very likely ramping up more on the events in the future. At the moment, remember, they were kind of in beta, and we need to be focusing more on development. And
that was a complete tangent, but that was a good one. Let's move
next
on to
evolution.
Whatever's next. Missile block point changes. This is something we have seen discussed a lot. One thing as well I noticed from the stream 2 weeks ago, you guys said, is the chat was saying they really liked it when we talked about our goals and why we made changes, and that it really helped them to understand where we're all coming from. So I have from now on, hopefully, always going to include this little goal line. So if you guys have any questions about that or anything like that, we're probably not the best people to ask to, but we'll give it a shot. So these are the goals that I got from Jamie and his team before today. So the goal for missile block points was to stop them being too farmable, and I think we've all seen those screenshots. I mean, I have a fair few of my own Leo Spear games where I have like 3 Kanani archers shooting at me, and I'm just like, this is going to be a lot of points. And that's not really tactical gameplay, right? It's not really rewarding you for doing anything.
Especially when it's disturbing player behavior to a point where he goes with his shields up, just stand there and get shot. That's disturbing his behavior a little bit more. You should be focusing on the battle and what happens there, and then how you perform will be reflected in points. If you play more support, if you play more defense, blah blah blah. But there was an issue here with the blocks.
So as you see, there's 3 key changes that have been made here. The first is that the overall amount of points you get per missile blocked has been reduced. There is a soft cap, and by that we mean that when you hit 1,500 points, you're going to get an ever-reducing amount of points. So
from 0 to 1,500, the increase of points to relative to missile block is linear. So you kind of go all the way up to 1,500. After that, after you reach the soft cap, you get diminishing returns, and then the more you block, the less points you get. So if you're gonna be assaulted and barrage non-stop, you will very likely get to the 3,000, but it's going to be more difficult to get from 1,500 to 3,000 than from 0. So in the first step, you get there linearly. After, it kind of tapers off. So if you decide to not exploit, sorry, that's the wrong word, stand there the entire game and get shot,
I mean, there is, and I think it's something as well, is I remember us talking about this like 7 months ago,
Yes.
is there is some value in archers shooting at someone who's standing there, and the value there being that the archers are not shooting at someone else. But that value shouldn't be 11k points,
Yes.
right? And I think
Yeah.
that's the key thing, is we're not saying that blocking missiles is irrelevant or useless.
No,
What
no, no,
we're
no,
saying
no.
is you shouldn't be able to get like 10,000 points just for blocking missiles.
Correct.
So, and then obviously there's the hard cap at 3,000 points. So when you hit 3,000 points, you will not earn any more points for blocking missiles.
Yep.
Cool. Let's see what's next. Spotting point changes. So the goal here was that we found that spotting points were being over-rewarded, and what that really encouraged people to do was just race, just
Yes, rush
at
forward
the start
for
of the
the
battle,
flag.
grab all of your spotting points, and then kind of pull back.
Yeah, wink at Majutsu. 'Cause
Well-
he always, when they play together, I enjoy a lot playing with RTKs, because when they play a lot, it's always like who can get first to the
Right,
to
yeah,
the tower to get the spot points, and then they kind of do this small back and forth. But
And I think that's quite the point, right? Is while like missile block points, spotting points are useful, and they you have done something. We don't want it so that you can immediately get like 1,300 points within the first 5 seconds of the battle because you were the first to reach the watchtower.
yes, again, it's about how player behaves according to these
Yep.
points.
So, capture points. This is probably the biggest set of changes, and I think I've split this into two parts. So, the first goal, because there were two different goals with the changes here. The first is a rebalance, and the second is a slight mechanic change. So the rebalance, as you can see here, is the amount of available capture points and decapture points is from 3,000 reduced from 3,000 to 2,000. That means 4,000 total for both of those.
Yep.
And the capturing completed points. So I'm not sure if many people know about capturing completed points. You may notice that at the end of the battle, your points spike a bit, but that means that every unit you have in the enemy base, when the base is captured, you get currently 200 points for, and that will be reduced down to 100 points. And you can see there that the total possible capture points you can get in a game has gone down from 6,600 to 4,300.
Yep.
And that is because we found that at the end of the battles, even if it wasn't a cap battle, like it was an annihilation, you'd always find that capture points were just way higher than other points. It would be quite hard to get 3,000 or even 2,000 aggression points sometimes in a battle, but you would always be able to get 2,000, like 2,500 cap points or something like that. So we're again, it's like missile block. We're not saying that these points aren't worth as much as other points or that they're not great.
No,
we're just saying that their value was overstated.
Correct.
I think it's also worth noting that some of the XP values that are accompanied with these points have been changed as well. So although some of these numbers may seem big, I don't think that in terms of free XP you're going to be seeing massive changes.
No.
This is just a really good way for the scoreboard to more accurately reflect what's been going on in the battle. Part 2, stop capture point farming. And this
Yes.
is something we've seen, and we've seen people really, rage over as well. When at the end of a battle, people are leaving, going in, and just swapping with everyone. And I have specifically called out this change as being heavily monitored, because I know Jamie was concerned that while this is going to stop capture point farming, there have been people in the community who have said that this might cause other problems. It might encourage other negative behaviour. So we're going to very heavily look at what effect this has. But what the effect is if you leave the base, you lose all your capture points. So to be clear, that also happens for decap points. If you are decapped and you're in the base, you keep those decap points as long as you're in the base. But if you leave, you lose all your capture points.
Okay.
So capture points are only going to be there at the end for those who have actively contributed up to that final capture.
Yeah. So no more resetting in and out of
Yes.
the enemy base.
Yeah.
But if you stand there, you're still gonna get the points, even if you get
So, I'm just checking that I've gone through everything Jamie wrote. So yeah, this is, as he says, this is to eliminate situations where players constantly run in and out of the enemy base in order to get as many capture points as possible. And I think I said this, but leaving the enemy base while captured will lose you all of your current capture points, but you will keep your capture points if you're decapped by an enemy while in the base and you stay in the base.
So if you're tapped while in the enemy base, you're gonna keep your capture points even though you got decapped.
Yep.
So if you want to really get your cap points up, stay in the enemy base. Don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So think that's capture points. What have we got next? Elephant points.
Yay! This
This is
an
one
interesting
we've seen spoken about a lot. And
Yeah.
actually, this is something that I know at least in the conversations I had, there was a lot of back and forth, and I know some people may ask why we didn't do this one earlier, for example, because it's been a few fair months in Carthage, but I think that there was always, at least in my understanding, a core belief that all units are made equally, and that they should therefore be worth equal, and I think that was something that we were trying to do, and we are still trying to do, but elephants, because, and as people point out, there aren't as many soft counters to them, they are harder to kill in some situations,
Yes.
and you should be rewarded for that, right? If you've had a harder time killing an elephant, you should be rewarded for taking down an elephant, and it is a group effort. I think is the other key point. One of the big points. I'm using the word point too many times. One of the big changes here is that, and I think this is true more of elephants than other units, is that you take it's a bunch of things that take them down. Not always just one thing. I mean, sure,
Yes.
javelins,
It's
arcing, right?
Yeah, elephants can soak up a lot of damage, so
Yes.
usually it requires joint effort to take an elephant down. So at the same time, yeah,
Yeah.
it's just so much DPS thrown at it, and it feels not really rewarding.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I mean, it's hard. It's a hard line when I'm explaining it, because what I'm trying to say is not that we think elephants are overpowered and therefore worth more points, but what we're saying is that their kind of niche, their kind of mechanic or part of them is that they are hard to take down. They lack in other areas, but one area they don't lack is that they are hard to kill, right?
Yes.
And that needs to be recognised more, and that's what we're trying to do. So what we're doing is we're doubling the amount of damage points that are available on an elephant. If you don't know, there is two kind of points for aggression. I guess there's many more, but the two we're talking about here are damage points, which is when you are hurting a unit or dealing damage to it, and kill points, which is that final hit that kills the model or the entity. With an elephant, there were a lot of kill points, so the person who got the last hit on the elephant would get a decent amount of points,
Yeah.
but there weren't that many damage points. So we are doubling those, reducing the amount of kill, because it is all about the group effort of hurting them rather than the one person who got the final shot. And as you can see here, that is overall a 70% increase per elephant of the amount of points available on them.
yeah. So have a what's it called, piñata?
Yeah,
Have
yeah.
a go at the piñata. It's gonna be interesting now to see all those parties and whatnot.
I think there is another. Hold on, let me just see if there's any questions about that. It doesn't seem. Does capture progress stop when capturing is contested? No, it isn't. But I've seen that suggested a lot. Of if you're in the enemy base, if you're in your base and they're in your base, it's not capturing because you're there. And I know that it is something that Jamie wants to look at, and his team is the capture mechanics. So if you guys have the suggestions about that, I've seen that one a lot. If anyone else has ideas about how they'd like to see the capture mechanic work, absolutely feel free to share them. We're on the lookout for those at the moment. And I think the final set, shatter point changes. So to explain what a shatter is compared to everything else, if you're under, I think, 10 men, then you'll start wavering, right? So if the enemy have reduced you down to 10 men, you've started to waver. And when you're wavering, if you are routed, your men are shattered, which means they're out. And that's why you'll see like a couple of people who then get routed and they just disappear. So that's what shattering is. And it used to be that if you shattered an enemy, you managed to rout them, that was it. That was kind of the end of it. You didn't get the points. Those men who were alive were still alive. You didn't kill them, so you didn't get the points.
Yep.
And what change we've made is that if you shatter a unit, if you get them under 10 men and then you make them rout, you get all of the points and all of the kill and damage points as though you had just killed every single last man.
Yeah.
Which is great. It's going to be more aggression points to those who have actually done something aggressive and managed to rout them.
This will also help finish off units. So if it now feels a little bit unrewarding for spending the time to finish off a unit, now you're going to finish off a unit and you're going to get extra for it.
And I think this is, for me as well, I see it's quite a nice thing for barbarian players because points are distributed to all of those who helped rout. So I did speak to one of the people who tested this, and I wasn't entirely sure. But it seems to be proportionate. So if you dealt 75% of the morale damage and someone else dealt 25%, you'll get 75% of those shatter points. So barbarian players who are able to come in and help finish off that final unit with their flanks, with their routes, they'll get a lot of shatter points there.
Awesome.
Did someone just say Jamie is alive on Discord? Oh, of course he is. So I think... Oh my gosh, there's something I completely forgot to put into this. I'm just going to read it off. Hold on, what's the next slide? Yeah, I completely forgot to put it in. Before we go into skins, I'm going to talk about something else. And this is super ironic that I forgot to put it in. Because this is going to be a hidden change coming in the next build. And apparently I've hidden it from the presentation as well.
We don't have hidden changes, but okay.
Well, this is a hidden change that we're telling them about. It's not a hidden change. So, what I mean hidden, sorry, is that you guys won't be able to see it, but we're telling you it's in there because we don't hide changes. And that is ability debuff and buff points. So we're putting ability debuff and buff points in, but they're not going to be visible. And
that's what you mean by hidden. Okay.
That's what I mean by hidden, is they won't be able to see it. I could see the look on your face, it's just like, why are you telling them we hide things? That's not what I'm saying. It's we're turning on a feature, but we're not turning on the UI for it.
Yes, it's going to be working in the background while we calibrate it. That's the idea for it. But please.
So yeah,
expand.
I will actually read this off ad verbatim. How do you say that? Ad verbatim?
Not like
Ad verbatim?
there you go.
Ability buff/debuff points is a long requested feature, and one we have often steered clear of implementing due to the challenges in making it work satisfyingly without also being abusable, e.g. sitting in a corner buffing each other's speed instead of playing into battle. We have implemented a version that we are confident will properly reward players for supporting one another while not being easily abusable. However, these points categories have never been tackled before, and we have no basis on which to begin balancing their values. Due to the sheer complexity of the calculation method, we also don't want to have any data. Oh, we also don't have any data that can shine enough light on the very specific situations that generate these points. So, to combat this, we've included the calculation side of these points in the background of this build, but they will not be displayed on the scoreboard, nor will you receive any points for them. This is to allow us to collect, rewards. You'll obviously get points. This is to allow us to collect lots of metrics and data. So what we can do is build up this backlog, like we have for all other points, of how they're working and what they feel like and how many points people are getting on average, how many the most are getting, how many the least are getting. And then with all of that data, we can start to find the balance for them.
Yes.
So we're probably going to need to make some changes to the underlying mechanics and calculations, which is why we're holding off right now on like the detail of how it all works. But we wanted you to know that we are working on it, and it is in the next patch. It's just not going to be something that you'll actually be seeing yourself get points for or get rewarded for.
Version 0.0 something.
It is.
Which,
but it's there, and we are going to be doing it. So we just, that's the case, right? It's something that we can put out and then balance, and then when it's balanced, we'll say, and now it's here. But yeah, we didn't want to hide that from you guys. Oh god, I remember the one time that I accidentally left something out the patch notes, and then it was found in game, and then it was everyone thought I'd done like a hidden change, and it was just me. I just forgot to put it in the patch notes. A lot goes on in this brain, right? Some things fall, but we don't do hidden changes.
I kind of want to ask what's that a lot, but
okay.
What's
next?
Where are we
Skins.
Next?
Okay, can you whoop me up as to full? Whoop me up.
What? Whoop?
Okay. Okay, now unwhoop me. Look at this! In-game live! On a dev build! Are you impressed? This took me hours to set up.
Just say you did it.
Yeah, there we go. That was easy. So, we're going to show off some of the new skins live, which I thought would be a nice little...
Awesome, that's yeah, now we're talking.
So we got Vercingetorix. Everyone knows him as the leader of the Arvini. Oh wow, why did I even open that? So we're going to open the cosmetics. We got some cool stuff. Everyone has the veteran skin. Everyone's used to that, old Vercingetorix. But we have some new ones. So we have, let's go for, is that Blessed of Belenus?
Yes.
There we go. So we got Blessed of Belenus, which gives him a nice little face paint. It gives him a little flower. Is that flower or sun? What do you think, Paul? Flower or sun? Do you know what this is? It's kind of like a beach-themed one.
Yeah.
You see that? Like waves, you've got the sun.
Beach?
I didn't want to say beach towel.
I was thinking,
but
very... It looks mostly like ghostly-like to me because of the
I've seen
face. The white on the face.
well, I think it's kind of meant to be kind of... I think you're right. It's meant to be kind of like Druidic and very holy because it's blessed,
Yes.
right? So...
Belenus. That looks cool.
That does look cool.
Especially with the background. What background is that one?
That's my little barbarian town background.
Cool. I want that background.
You can get that background.
Really?
Yeah, it's in game. No more
yeah.
leaks.
Okay.
And then there's High King, which I think makes him blonde and gives him, you know, a new print. But if you've seen Vercingetorix and you've always gone, I wish he was blonde, yeah, we have you covered. So now you can have your blonde boy. Look at his golden locks in the background there. There you go. So you have your golden Vercingetorix.
Yeah, he looks cool.
I
Again.
think we're going to save the Miltiades ones till last because they are, I think, my absolute favourite skins. So we'll do Julius Caesar.
Ooh.
You could probably tell by even the little picture thing for that one that is a really interesting skin. For those of you who don't know, so it's called Caesar Triumphant. In a Triumph, they had their face painted red. So naturally, good old Caesar, he's got his red face paint on, and he's got some more red theming as well. So it's very much like he's in his Triumph.
Yeah. Isn't there like a famous scene where they paint their face and then they walk into with like cheers and whatnot?
There is.
So
I believe this is as seen on TV, right?
Yeah.
So there you go. We got, and I guess as seen like 2,000 years ago. And then we have,
cool.
I see this guy's Holy Caesar. He's like angelic Caesar.
Holy.
It's Caesar Ascendant. It's like he's died and he's in heaven. Would he have gone to heaven?
I like this one. This is almost like...
I do like that one.
So, like, this is the Supreme Commander, kind of like...
Are there any, like... Do we have, like, white... there's no white backgrounds yet. We should maybe see if we can get, like, a white one. I'm talking to the producer now. Get, like, a white one to match the Caesar one. That'd be cool. One of my favourite things to do is to get the Scipio one, the blue one, and get my boys in blue in the back. And we like the police rolling out. I can see myself like the Scipio on patrol.
I was like, where's he going with this?
With the boys in blue.
Yeah.
So they're those skins, and the Miltiades ones. You know what? A lot of people have been asking for Miltiades skins.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that we saw his helmet as an opportunity to be absolute graffiti artists.
Yes.
I'll start with Polmark. So there's this one,
Check
which
that out.
I just love his skins. I think this one makes him like scaled. This puts him scale armor on, which is really cool. I love his shield pattern.
Yes, the eyes on it. I like the crest.
Yeah. So he's got this really badass helmet. But you know what? It's the Archon skin.
Yeah.
Look at that helmet.
It's a classy skin.
It is his. It looks a little bit like Santa Miltiades. Do you know what I mean? Like how I'd imagine
Yeah.
he'd be at Christmas.
Santa? No. For me, it says more like Tiki.
Oh, I can see
Tiki
that.
token.
Yeah. I don't know, I really love the
Token.
idea of his like helmet being painted as part
Yeah.
of it. So there's your regular Miltiades, and there's
Yeah.
party Miltiades.
I like this, the Maniac, the Archon.
Yeah, it's because you can just see his eyes, right?
Yeah.
It is like a little serial killery.
And he looks so badass.
does.
His pose and everything is like...
Yeah. I think Miltiades is one of the most badass commanders. I mean, I still love my
is.
God of War Leonidas, because look at him, he is so Spartan.
Yeah. I like the
know,
famous...
It's all about the boys in blue. Boys in blue Scipio. It was a mistake giving me access to the live game, wasn't it? This was a real blunder.
As well.
This is a real blunder. But yeah, there we go. We have all the new skins. Someone said looks like Scipio in Greek armor. I can see that, but not where he's wearing his blue. So there we go. There are the new skins. Are there still people who... I think Alexander's left to have some skins, and there was me desperately hoping I didn't click on him because it was a dev build. It had like debug working on skins.
Yeah. I like their commander portraits as well.
Yeah.
They look cool when you load into the screen, into the battle. You can see
I'll
the
try and buy
portrait as you
Yeah.
load them up. So it's like really cool because you can show off with that as you load
That
into
one
the
looks
battle.
really cool.
Yeah, that actually looks better, the commander icon, but I like the visuals of the other one
Yeah.
maybe more.
Are there
a
any...
little bit-
Oh, we got blue! Okay. If I want to recreate my Scipio boys in blue, I can now have my Miltiades boys in blue as well.
There you go.
There you go, guys. Unlimitless. Limitless options. There we go. Oh, this keeps flipping off my ear. Okay, we're going to have to twizzle back to me, because I'm going to have to twizzle back to my
All these new
super
words,
secret method.
Twizzle and...
Okay. I'm twizzled. Go.
Yep.
Oh. Yeah, go. There we go. We're back. Oh, God.
Bug fixes.
So, someone said, where's Pink Milty? I wish I could tell you. Hopefully, one day we'll have Cousins of the Rainbow Milty as well. That'd be pretty cool.
I mean, argue for it. Post on it.
I will. Everyone, no, let's not lobby. Let's not use the live stream as our platform.
No, I meant on the Reddit. If they want something, they can just
Yeah.
request it. Just communicate about it.
Everyone's now going to be talking about pink Miltides, though.
Hey,
I mean, we have the pink skins. We can have the pals in pink. What do you think? Pals in pink?
I'm just trying to ignore you now.
Ooh, okay, let's talk about bugs. So before we go into that, I will talk about the bug bounty, because we just launched a bug bounty. And it was about war dogs, so war dogs sometimes not being click-onable. I think was the precise scientific terms we were using. It was sometimes you just couldn't click on the UI for war dogs. And actually, I had intended to come on here, raise some visibility, and be like, if you guys think you've got a solution, go and solve it. But based on what Dave J's just told me, I think someone may have found the cause of it.
okay.
So it looks like it was caused by wavering handlers. Like if the handlers were wavering, then the dogs weren't click-onable in the UI.
There you go. Poof.
So probably be another bug bounty soon, I guess. You guys just fixing them, you're finding them too fast. But yeah, if maybe that isn't the solution, maybe go have a look and see if you know what it is. If you heard me say that and you think that's wrong, I know what the cause is. Go and find what's right. Oh boy. So let's talk about the other bugs. The bugs that are actually going to be in the patch. And this is something that we spoke about in Dev Newsletter, I want to say 15, maybe 16.
I lost track of them.
They're all my children, so I know them all by name. We spoke about achievement bugs specifically,
Okay.
and this is something we've seen on Reddit recently as well. Some people talking about, especially that bloomin' that only counts as one achievement, popping up in battles with no elephants and no Ambiorix players. But now, hopefully, we've just got a set of achievement bugs, achievement fixes, even not achievement bugs, that we're going to be putting out in 3.1.15, and I'll quickly rattle off them now, if that's all right. So, number one, and most importantly, is no longer able to unlock that only counts as one achievement when there are no Ambiorix or Elephant players in battle. Aquafire 1 will not be awarded in the 3D victory screen without actually then being awarded in the post-battle results. Corona Obsidonalis is no longer being given to a player when they shouldn't have earned it. The eliminated decoration now takes into account elephants. The executed decoration now takes into account commanders on elephants. The Ambiorix client-side achievements are now all working consistently, and I think that was a lot of the causes of that only counts as one, and all that kind of stuff. I think a lot of those were Ambiorix related, because also Belgae Revenge is now working consistently, and Prince versus Princess is now working consistently, and That Makes 16 is now working consistently, and I think the common thread between them was Ambiorix. He says, not confidently. But yeah, all of those achievements we've had a pass on, and hopefully they will now be working a lot more consistently. Other fixes we've had is there was some minor clipping with Caesar, and that's been fixed for the skins, just in time for the skins. So if you saw Caesar there and you thought, wow, there's no clipping, that's why. The Greek tier 9 and 10 slingers have rapid shot, which gets superseded by Kanani.
Yep. So we have fixed that.
We have fixed that, so they should now, it should say Kanani's Barrage, that's what's confused me. So they now have rapid shot available to them in the high tier release selection. And tier 8 Berserkers with Vercingetorix no longer have Reckless Charge superseded. And also fixed a rare issue with selecting abilities. And thank you to Raider TR for working with us on that one. Community bugs. Oh, there are a couple of others. There's more bugs. There's 2 more bugs. So, fix the unlimited focus fire bug that was also affecting any abilities with that behaviour. That was raised a couple of patches ago. It's quite a rare bug, but it's one of those things that just comes up and we crush it and it pops up somewhere else. And also, and this is one that I am really glad that we've managed to get out, is we've implemented almost an experimental fix for replays, where, and I'm sure loads of you guys have seen this, where units just stop, and they just stop for the rest of the replay, or they're attacking different people, or anything like that. So we've taken a lot of the replays you guys sent us, so thank you everyone who sent us replays. And we had one of our main programmers looking at them, and he worked on the code, and he would compare your replays before and after, and made sure that they were then working. So all of the replays that were sent to us are now working on the new code, and are showing the correct battle. So we're going to put this code out. Hopefully it will blanket apply to all of the other replays as well. and we shouldn't have any inconsistent replays anymore. If you are getting replays out of sync, let us know, because there may be further changes needed to this.
Yes.
It just, how consistent we can get it depends on how many inconsistent replays we can get.
Yes. I would like to add that this, particularly the replay system and focus fire and projectile, so these two separate systems are very, very complex.
Yeah.
So while you might see similar issues popping up, they're very likely exceptions, different types of exceptions that somehow result in a similar behavior. But again, they're very complex systems, and yeah.
Well, I remember before replays were even in the game, we were talking about it, and it was like some mythical beast, right? Of we've got to try and get replays in game, but it was so complicated to get them working with our system model, with our battle simulations.
Yes.
And it was a minor, like, technical miracle downstairs that they managed to get that working.
It is. Yes, it is.
And now to be able to also get them fully back to where they were is, absolutely all credit to the programmers who worked on that. I would not even...
Jolt.
Yeah, absolutely. I would not even be able to begin to tackle that system. Not many systems I could probably tackle with much competency, though. But give me a good Word doc, and I'll write the hell out of it. So...
What's next?
Weekend bonus. Oh, me. The weekend bonus this weekend. It went up at about 4 on our website. We'll put it out on social media soon. But for you guys, next page. For you guys who are interested in it, we are doing something a bit different because it's not Halloween, guys. It's Samhain, which is the Celtic predecessor to Halloween, right? Like Saturnalia instead of Christmas. It's Samhain instead of Halloween. And it's the time of the year. So I did some rudimentary research on it. I'm not going to claim to be a Samhain expert, but it seemed to be that everyone who died throughout the year was kind of, their ghost was still here. And then on Samhain every year, that was like when their ghosts go to the underworld.
Okay.
I'm like 80% sure that's true. But that's what it's going to say on social media, so let's hope it is. So what we're going to be doing is we've got a very special treat this weekend, and that is that you get 50% bonus gold from each premium shop purchase containing gold this weekend. So if you buy 2,000 gold, you would get 3,000 gold. You get the extra 50%. But to make sure, absolutely make sure, if you buy anything on the shop that has gold in it, because it does only apply to the actual gold, make sure you log in this weekend and claim it. Because it's not necessarily about buying it this weekend, it is about making sure you log in and claim that. We've also got the 200% XP bonus first daily victory, 50% discount on purchasing Boudica with gold, 50% discount on barbarian cosmetic equipment, 15% discount on heavy horse, and then the various discounts on war dogs. So it's effectively buy gold, get 50% free.
Within the weekend.
Yes, within this weekend. So that is 10 UTC Friday to 10 UTC Monday. So hold off on your gold purchases until tomorrow morning. And I think that's it for the weekend bonus. So we have 17 minutes-ish that we can do a little bit of a Q&A. So if any of you guys have any questions, I have tried to pick up some of them while we're doing through this. Ouch, Word doc with typos. Yeah, I do have...
It's been like 7 days since you did that.
Yeah, if you remember, the community feedback email I sent round on Wednesday was 2,000 words and only had 2 typos. Although one of the typos was in the 3rd word of the email, which was painful. Viking faction / commander, thoughts? Sounds cool.
Yeah.
I think Vikings, samurai, they're always the ones we've spoken about. It's kind of the iconic ones we'd love to do. When replace elephants with camels. Oh man, nearly one stream. We nearly got through one stream without the camels. Pink Miltiades for Valentine's Day 2019.
Nah,
what about all of them in pink? See, that's me. I just increased the scope 13 times. Oh man, now the camels are coming. Spectator mode, any updates on that? So I did see that there was a big post in the subreddit about all of those kind of competitive things, and I did comment on there saying that there were a load of questions on there. There were 5 main ones they wanted answered, I believe, on like updates on where they were, and I have to go talk to a whole bunch of different people to find out where those are, but we are hoping to kind of include some kind of mini update in the next developer newsletter on where most of those things are, if not all. Spectator node, I kind of know that one, so I'll say it now. It's had its designs done.
Correct.
Oh, speaking to the man who I believe did the designs. Had its designs done, and I think it's just waiting for prioritization. Speaking to the producer who helps with prioritization. What a weird world I live in. So yeah, that is something that we've heard, and we absolutely agree with you that it is vital for competitive play, and we want to get it out there. We're just working out where it should be going in line with all of the other features. Let's see what else we got. What are you going to do about friendly fire?
That's a very generic question.
They said it feels too easy to shoot your teammates.
Too easy to shoot your teammates. I believe that to a certain extent the current existing systems work well with helping counter the friendly fire that you can cause. And at the same time, if you are starting to cause a lot of friendly fire, you will start getting penalized very heavily.
Oh.
And after that, if you really become a nuisance, people can report. So we have recently improved the reporting system. So
We have.
yeah.
And actually, it used to be a lot easier to friendly fire people
Oh yes. Yes.
before we implemented the kind of smart
We've
systems.
done a lot of heavy iteration on
Do you
the
wanna twirl us
mechanics of the friendly fire. We've improved the reporting system for it. So yeah, when it comes to friendly fire, I believe we are in a good spot. If you really feel like someone is really taking advantage and being very no negative, what's the word? Bad.
Mean.
Mean with causing friendly fire. Yeah, you can just report
Oh
him.
man. Are there any other questions not related to camels? Would be my next request. We got Viking camels riding on chariots pulled by camel Vikings.
Like you're spying on us.
It's like Inception, like so many levels of camel. You keep going in the humps. He says, hoping no one clips that. Someone was saying, how about RT rebalances?
Good question. We have something in the works for the future, but it remains to be prioritized. So we will see where we can and how can we go about it. We have taken all your feedback on board, and yeah, we have already some high-level designs for it.
Yeah.
It's gonna come
And
at
I
some
think,
point. I just cannot state when.
and I think to get you guys kind of on board with some of the terms we're using, right? We've got, so when we're designing something, so a design means that we completely agree with you, like there needs to be a change there, or
Yes.
we want to add something there, and we've worked out what we want to do, and waiting for prioritization is kind of putting it in a queue to say, hey, how important is this? And then when we get to that point, we look at everything else we have, and then imagine it just as kind of a big priority list, right? From this needs to be done right now to this can kind of wait till we've got some off time, and we put it there, and then when it gets to there, that's when work begins. So it's kind of putting things onto like I'm kind of like think like an escalator thing, like in a factory. Do you know what I mean? Like where there's boxes on like a production line, and it's choosing where on the production line we put it. Do we push everything back and put it in front, or do we put it kind of at the back? And that's kind of the design process there. Correct me if I'm wrong, producer. So the designs are done. We completely agree that things need to be changed with, you know, spectator mode, with RT. We just need to choose where on that production line it goes, because when we put it in, we've knocked other things back. And that's also
Yes.
very important to remember, is we do want to do everything right now, but we've got to make sure that the line we pick is logical. Well, someone here said, total noob here, but why are the other commanders really expensive? And I imagine that's a question, judging by the looks of you guys, you're expecting me to ignore, or at least to try and not answer. But it's something we spoke about, we've spoken about quite frequently, and that is that commanders are really expensive for us to produce, especially commanders that come with a new faction. And we are finding that our old free XP rates, they were what, like 2,000-3,000 gold, up to like 16,000. And this is what's really weird, is the things we would spend the most time on were the things that were cheapest in-game. And that kind of balance just didn't fit. And it kind of made more sense that actually we want to be able to justify internally saying, hey, we need 3 months to make this commander have these 2 really cool abilities.
Yes.
And to justify that, we need to be able to say, well, actually people will buy them at the end. And with the system we had, that just wasn't happening. And that's why the commander prices changed.
at the same time, we have also improved certain rewards. So especially if you as you progress higher
Yes,
up
exactly.
into tiers,
You get more
it's
gold.
not. Yeah.
And yeah, well, you get more free XP, you get more gold. And I think one thing to say as well is we did not change the price of gold for them, I believe.
Hmm.
I believe it was just the free XP prices that were changed. So the price of gold has been consistent, and we do, discounts on them.
Yes.
So there you go.
Regular intervals.
Oh yes, thank you. Apparently I said 2 to 3k gold, I meant free XP. Thank you. Of how much they used to cost. So, someone said, can you play tier 10 to see the skill level of our community? I'm going to tell you guys, I'm going to tangent a tiny bit. I'm going to tell you a really sad story of I really like Boudica War Dogs, and I legitimately got Boudica War Dogs up to tier 9 on live, and I was really enjoying it. And then, Dan, he needed to test the tier 10 leaderboards, and I was really close to tier 10, so he boosted my War Dogs up to tier 10, and he stole that last tier from me. And I haven't been able to play them since, I'll be honest with you. It just feels like my last tier was robbed, so now I'm working on my Scipio Boys in Blue, trying to get them up to tier 10. So I can't say I do play a huge amount of high tiers.
You can always reset your account. If you want.
Alright, thank you. But yeah, I can't say personally I play a hell of a lot of the super high tier stuff. I quite like tier 6, 7, a little bit of tier 8.
But the question was again?
Playing high tiers. I've seen you when I played tier 8.
Skill and high tiers, I believe.
Yes.
I think the question was related towards...
Have you played high tiers to see the skill of the community in high tiers?
Have we played high... Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when I was dipping my toe into the top tiers, I noticed you up there. I remember that match where you called for my head, and then people hunted me.
I don't know what you're on about. I was playing in high tier battles and I was killing my opponents.
And I think it's something to bear in mind that a lot of people here don't have CA in front of their name. I do. I'm in the game. I'm Josh CA, but there's a lot of people who don't have that, and that might be because they had accounts before they joined us, and they kept those accounts.
Yes.
It might be that they just want to stay incognito and they want to experience the game as a player rather than as a dev, which is absolutely vital. But yeah, we have people who play high tiers, absolutely.
Yeah, of course. I got to high tiers, Dave got to high tiers, Will got to high tiers.
I mean, the number of times Jamie's got to tier 10 as well, it's...
Yes, and this is just, I kind of started to play only high tiers. So yeah, it's been quite an experience. Definitely a lot of high skill players there, but I had some awesome games. I played, I believe, even against Jojo. So
someone said, Josh, why are the prices of tier 8 premium units in game raised by 500 gold before they got the discount? I don't think that happened. As far as I'm aware, the premium unit prices have not changed. They went down. Like 2 or 3 months ago, they were permanently lowered, but I don't think we've raised anything. If you could follow up with me afterwards, that'd be great. Let me see. Josh, you are so courageous to play dogs. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Ranked.
Was that a question?
Yeah.
What was the question?
Update on ranked. Test plan.
Do you want to talk about that? Shall I?
if you show me or tell me the question, you both saw it, I didn't.
Just how did the testing go on ranked mode a few weeks ago?
Awesome.
We need to get you mic'd up. Yeah.
Yeah.
How did the testing go on rank mode? Was the question.
Yeah. We had the data back from it. The ranked itself functionality went okay, but we saw there are some things that we clearly need to work on. So, for example, how do we compute matchmaking when it comes to ranked? So, yeah, with that in mind, and then we need to do some considerations also when it comes to balance. But particularly the matchmaking was most concerning, the biggest concerning point for ranked. Like, make sure that runs smooth.
Yeah.
As we have to, beside a lot of other things. But yes, that was the most salient point from the rank, and that also is considerable amount of work.
Okay. Someone said, are you going to lower the commander prices? And I don't believe that at this point there are any plans The
No,
commander prices.
not to my knowledge.
Someone's saying it was the Berserkers, so yes, I will follow up on that after. But as far as I'm aware, that was not a thing that I'm aware of, at least. So we will look into that. Someone said, "I love you, Jamie." Maybe he is here, the ghost. Have you noticed anything in the recording, like flickerings behind us of Jamie? Someone said, "Oh, double question here, I guess. Clan tags coming soon?"
Soon, again, when it comes to time estimates, yeah, that we can't. I don't have any time estimates.
I think I'm going to use my box analogy again, right? But on this production line where we have these boxes, this is one of the issues we have with giving like set dates for things. Is another box could come in and push that one back, and that box had a thing on it that said 1st of March, but then another box came in front and pushed it back, and suddenly that says 15th of March. Yes, it is designed, and I believe the designs have been re-looked at since all of the feedback. So it's one of those things, right? And I believe it's even been prioritized, so it is on the conveyor belt. I'm really sticking with this analogy, apparently. So yeah,
it's kind of rudimentary, but yes.
Yeah, so it's on
the
the conveyor
system
belt.
is way more complicated than that, but yeah.
So yeah, it's on the conveyor belt, and it is coming. So, any news on a fix for fetch? I have seen something about fetch recently, but I can't remember what it was.
Fix for fetch.
Yeah. Could you elaborate on what the fix for fetch is? Or what the problem with fetch is? The Ghost of Jamie Tier 10 Premium unit. It's just a one-man squad.
I think I know, yeah, what's the issue with fetch, but
Oh, okay.
I don't want to
Guess.
Yes.
Well, someone said you should make more free commanders or some super cheap ones, and I believe it is a thing of like we have tier bandings for the commanders, and when we get new factions in and we get new commanders in, I'm sure the tier bandings of commanders will
Price brackets
yes,
for
the price
commanders.
brackets will move around. Like they're not going to be fixed like that forever.
No, we'll
But-
adjust.
You know, with the current content we have, that's what they are. Josh Manicus skin by Christmas. Let's put that one on the conveyor belt. Top of it. New factions confirmed. Yes, there are new factions. Do you want me to ask if they've got any balance questions? Because you're a good balance boy.
Fire away.
Fire away. Someone was saying fetch doesn't give bonuses. I think that was a different. Fetch charge impact being weird. It doesn't give its bonuses to the war dogs.
Yep, that's a bug we are aware of, and we will be trying to fix at some point in the future.
Okay. I can't see many questions, so we may want to think about winding this down. So thank you very much to everyone who joined us.
Thank you.
We really appreciate it. Even though we forgot to really signal out that our time was changing, I guess, because of we had a time jump here in the UK.
I jump a lot.
Yeah, well, we went back an hour, forward an hour, back an hour. We went back an hour. So thank you everyone for joining us, even with our time jump. We hope you're looking forward to 3.1.15 and the points update. And we will see you in 2 weeks' time with 3.16.
Yay. Thanks everyone. See
Thank
you.
you.